This is for educational use only. Our group grants permission for our instructor, M.R. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material.
Good morning, everyone. Take a moment to truly comprehend this number. 304 million. That is the estimated number of international migrants today, a population larger than almost any country in the world. 304 million people are moving across borders, creating a global phenomenon that touches every nation, every country, and every family. This is the magnitude of global migration in the 21st century. We are not just talking about cold statistics. We are talking about human stories. The difficult choice between economic survival and family separation. The search for safety from conflict and the pursuit of education. Today, we will unpack this phenomenon. Learning objectives. Our discussion aims to help you. Learning outcome 14.1. Analyze the political, economic, cultural, and social factors underlying the global movements of people. Learning outcome 14.2. Display first-hand knowledge of the experiences of OFWs or overseas Filipino workers. We will cover 5 essential areas. First, definition and scope of global migration. Next is the global migration landscape in a contemporary world. Next is the key types of global migration. And next is the reason why global migration occurs, push and pull factors. And next is the advantages and disadvantages for both the sending and the receiving countries. We are Group 1 and our discussion on global migration is fundamental to understanding modern international relations and the future of our own country. Let us first clearly define what is global migration. So, global migration refers to the movement of people across international borders to establish a new temporary or permanent residence in a foreign country. It is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon influenced by a host of interconnected drivers. First is spatial dimension, the physical act of crossing a state boundary. Next is temporal dimension, the length of stay which can range from a fixed period or temporary labor contracts or to permanence or seeking citizenship. Next is nature of movement, whether the movement is voluntary or seeking better economic opportunities or force or fleeing conflict or persecution. It's no longer just a trickle. It's a massive, complex stream driven by structural inequalities. The scale of this movement impacts every labor market policies in developed nations to the GDP of labor-sending countries like ours or Philippines, which are heavily reliant on remittances. For example, in 2023, the global remittance totally reached an estimated of $857 billion, far exceeding foreign direct investment and official development assistance combined. This financial lifeline highlights the profound economic power of migrants.
Next is the global migration and contemporary world. So, what is global migration? It is a movement of people across national borders, can be temporary or permanent, involves workers, families, students, refugees, and professionals, and a major feature of today's interconnected world. There are two factors. First, push factors. The reasons why people leave home. Because lack of jobs and low wages, war, violence, or political persecution, natural disasters and climate change, poverty and lack of opportunities, and weak access to education and healthcare. Second, pull factors. The reasons why people move to another country. Because there are better job opportunities, higher salaries and standard of living, safety and political stability, quality education, family reunification, and protection of rights and freedoms. So, how globalization shapes migration? Countries are more economically connected, faster and cheaper transportation, global demands for labor like nurses, engineers, and OFWs. So social media spreads information about opportunities abroad and businesses operate internationally. There are two impacts of migration. First, positive impacts. Remittances support families and national economies. More job opportunities, cultural exchange and diversity, skills and knowledge transfer, and labor support for countries lacking workers. Second is negative impact. Brain drain or loss of skilled workers, separation of families, possible exploitation or abuse of migrants, racism and discrimination, and overcrowding in cities. So why global migration matters? It shapes global economies, influences culture and society, affects politics and international relations, connects nations through human movement, and impacts future generations and global development.
So there are four key types of global migration. A closer look, while there are many specific categories. International migration can be broadly organized into key types based on the migrant's status and intent. So first is labor migration. The movement of individuals for the purpose of seeking work and economic opportunity. This is the largest component of global migration, comprising the majority of 304 million international migrants. High-skilled migrants. Professionals like an Indian software engineer moving to Silicon Valley or a German doctor relocating to Canada to fill a specialist shortage. Low-skilled or temporary migrants. Individuals like overseas Filipino workers or OFWs moving to the Middle East for construction or domestic work, or seasonal Mexican agricultural workers moving to the United States. So, next is forced migration. This is non-voluntary movement where people are compelled to flee their homes due to threats to their safety and lives. Refugees, those who flee their country due to a well-founded fear of persecution. A classic example is a Syrian national fleeing the civil war to seek safety in Turkey or Germany. Asylum seekers, individuals who have applied for international protection but whose claim has not yet been determined. For example, a person from Venezuela arriving at a border and formally requesting asylum in a neighboring country like Colombia. So, internally displaced persons or IDPs are technically not international migrants, but they are the crucial part of the forced migration crisis. They are forced to leave home but remain within their country's borders, often due to conflict like in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or natural disasters like those displaced by a cyclone in the Philippines. So, next is family migration or reunification. This involves migrants moving to join a family member who has already settled in a destination country. This is a protected right in many international agreements and national laws. For example, a Pakistani immigrant who has become a permanent resident in the United Kingdom, sponsoring their spouse and children to join them in London. And next is student or educational migration. Individuals moving for the purpose of study abroad, often a temporary form of migration that can sometimes transition into permanent residence. So, for example, a Chinese student moving to Australia to pursue a master's degree, or a Nigerian student relocating to the United States for undergraduate studies. This often leads to a search for employment in the destination country after graduation.
Why there is global migration? Global migration happen because people move from the one country to another in search of better opportunities, safety, and an improved equality of life. These movements are influenced by push factors, reason people leave their home country, and pull factors, reason people choose a new country. Economic factors. Many migrate because of limited job opportunities, low wage, and high poverty in their home country. Other countries offer higher salaries, better working conditions, and more stable employment. For example, many Filipinos go abroad to work nurses, seafarers, and construction workers because these jobs pay much more compared to local salaries. Political factors. People move when their countries experience wars, political instability, corruptions, or weak governance. Migrations become a way to find safety, protections, and more stable countries. Social cultural factors. Some migrate to reunite with their families who are already living abroad. Other wants to experience new cultures, better educations, or freedom to experience their identity. Globalizations make it easier for people to imagine a life abroad because of media, the internet, and the international networks. Environmental factors. Natural disaster, climate change, and environmental degradation forces for people to live. Rising sea levels, drought, typhoons, and crop failure push families to relocate to safer and more sustainable environments. Global demand for labor. Many countries suffer from labor shortage. Their needs more workers in healthcare, constructions, caregiving, and technology. Migrant workers fill these gaps, creating a cycle of global labor mobility.
The advantage and disadvantage of the sending and the receiving countries. Sending countries advantage. Sending countries benefits from the money remittance that migrants send home, which help family and boost the economy. They also experience reduced unemployment, and migrants often return with new skills and experience. Disadvantage. Sending country may lose skilled workers, cause brain drain. Families often face emotional stress due to long separation. Some industry may also experience labor shortage because many workers migrate abroad.
Receiving countries advantages. Receiving countries gain workers who fill jobs that are in demand. Migrants help the economy by working, paying taxes, and spending goods and services. They also bring cultural diversity that enriches society. The disadvantages. Receiving countries may face job competition between migrants and locals. Public services such as hospitals and schools may become crowded. Cultural differences can sometimes cause social tension or discrimination. Sending countries gain remittances and lower unemployment but face brain drain and family separation. Receiving countries gain more workers and cultural diversity but may face experience job competition and pressure on public services.